when lover boy hands her a letter. Once she reads it, her embarrassment turns into confusion as Akira has written on it that his actual power is telepathy. Not able to believe it since she already saw him in action, Akira begs her to open her mind and try to connect with him through thoughts. Shockingly, the pair can hear each other. After the success, the main man asks her to communicate through telepathy from now on because he suspects people might be watching them to make sure the pair are not a threat. The two then decide to learn more about each other and their goals to make their partnership even more profound. Upon making it official and deciding he can trust Yuri fully, Akira comes clean and tells her telepathy is also not his real power, but the ability to deceive people and make them manifest his power. Soon after, Mion announces a large-scale subjugation quest, ghouls hunting. The leaders of the red team, Hajime and Masaya, decided it would be a good time to get rid of the quote-unquote slaves. The next day, Yuto gathers a large amount of his best men and instructs them to split into smaller groups since this quest has lots of points to score, leaving Akira and Yuri to pair up and head alone, being the strongest among the bunch. Later, everyone arrives at the same location, where they will be killing all types of ghouls. The devised team synergies well together, making it easy to slay these ugly bastards. Akira watches closely other leaders in action to sniff out other good abilities he might use. He does another rundown of how his power works, as well as the situation he is placed in with everyone watching him, making switching between canon and telepathy by shifting his focus pretty easy. The Red's team leaders arrive at the scene to watch the Greens fight and study their power. The old man notices this and commands his men to fall back as he is careful not to put all their cards on the table. However, Masaya takes cruel measures against Yudo Shirasagi's tactics, i.e. he orders his slaves to charge to their deaths so they don't run away and are forced to stay and help. Havoc continues to run rampant when Mion raises the difficulty by summoning a big cat ghoul. Yudo steps in last second before Akira gets turned into a smashed potato. Using his ability, Peaceful Negotiation, Old Man Yudo tanks all the buff cat attacks before transforming all the damage back to it, leveling the cat ghoul and injuring his hand in the process. Sadly, Mion's kitty is a tough cookie to cark. The team leader asks everyone to escape while he holds him back with his remaining strength, but Yuri refuses to leave him and rushes in for help. In turn, Akira decides to stick behind to support his girl, which makes her as well as Mion glad since Shobi likes watching fiestas unfold. The pair put on a plan to try the new teleport ability they saw Commander use, but far from the eyes of everyone, so as soon as Akira led the cat bastard to a spot away from everyone, Yuri switched her mental focus on the power, allowing him to teleport last second and appear from behind the monster to blast its head off. Yet it wasn't enough and the cat fella stood back up for another round. Hajime, the red team leader, descended to finish off the cat boss. But don't get it twisted, he didn't do it out of his good heart, the big lug did it because he got bored and wanted to join in the fun. However, Mion stops him, also not out of goodness of heart, but out of love for chaos. A large-scale quest, Hunt the King, is announced. As the name suggests, both teams will assign a king of their own, and the other team will have to track them down and get their interface with any means necessary. And if a team beats enough members of the other team, they can get points to force activate another opposing member handcuffs, rendering them powerless. The second in command of Team Red, Masaya, comes up with the condition that everyone on the losing must die. Mion, who grew bored of the faction's long-lasting stalemate, accepts, much to Old Man Yudo's dismay. Thus, a momentary peace reigns until the next quest unfolds over the upcoming 7 days. Upon getting back to their camp, Yuri goes to take a shower while Akira gets questioned by Yuto about the nature of his true power. You see, during a boss fight, the sharp leader noticed it'd be impossible to dodge the cat hit out of normal reflexes. With no way out of this situation, Akira doesn't deny his claims but also doesn't tell him his actual power. The MC just confirms his suspicions and asks the leader to put his full trust in him as he will do his best to beat the Reds. Elsewhere, as a teen girl from the Greens is collecting wood, she gets jumped by a red creep. Luckily, the macho wrestler, Shin, was nearby to save the day. The trio reunites at the camp and Shin joins the Greens, a good addition to the team as they are now heavily lacking in offensive stats with some members injured. Akira mauls over what he can in the short period he has and the amount of men on their side. At that moment, the shorty from Phase 2, Ringo, thanks the main man for saving her from the Red. The girl then refers to his real ability, which clearly distress him. Yuri, walking by, sees the two talking and gets confused when Lover Boy shoves the girl to their room. Inside, Ringo explains her ability allows her to learn about others' abilities and copy them at 1/10 of their power, which she considers useless, hence why she tells him all she knows so that he partners up with her to make the most out of their powers. However, from the looks of it, Akira declines and Ringo leaves while eyeing the blondie. Later, Akira asks Yuri to accompany him over to the Blues' territory. Elsewhere, the guy who got his ass handed to him by Shin flees back to the Reds' territory, where all the leaders of the faction gather together once again for the Hunger Games. One chick makes it clear she doesn't like our girl Rin, but Masaya calms her down. Remember this scene, boys, it will come in handy later on. Anyways, the guy who escaped makes his way to the leader's room to tell Masaya, "The spy you have stationed on the inside helped me escape," with a message. You might have not been able to see it, but when the ghoul attacked the kid, he should have died. It was a direct hit. However, he was fine and fired his cannon like nothing happened. Hearing this, number 2 heads to talk with number 1 to inform him they must pay more attention to the new kid, realizing he has multiple abilities. Speaking about the devil, on his way to see Team Blue, Akira asks Yuri to show him how her power works, so he can try it. Sadly, his body is not built for such a stressful ability. Unlike Yuri, who can use it out of pure instinct, it will take Akira some training to handle it. Deducing they must know which abilities they can use in the meantime, Akira asks Yuri to imagine that he can shapeshift to a specific person in her mind, so Girly thinks hard and imagines Ringo from all the people that come to mind. Seeing this, Akira addresses the situation, realizing Yuri saw them together yesterday. Lover Boy tells her Ringo came with an offer to partner up and told him everything she knows. She also asked him to inform Yuri about what they discussed as insurance, so if he kills her, Yuri would stop trusting him. The pair then continue on their march to contact the leader of the blue team, Omoto, and ask for cooperation. Although the third faction pushes back at the idea of joining in on the game alongside the Greens, Akira tries to win them over by offering points that would take a person 6 quests to collect. However, Yuri, the leader, is still not convinced to join, as the points are not guaranteed unless they win, and that's a big if looking at the green firepower. That said, he offers to recruit his faction if Akira gives Yuri to the Blues. Akira declines, saying Yuri is too valuable and has a rare ability. Yet the main man is down to make the trade if Omoto joins the battle himself, since believe it or not, that lazy creep is a beast. Impressed by Akira's negotiating skills, Omoto agrees to pass the message to his people and let anyone interested join the games. The pair then catch up a bit with your boy Kurosaki, who still be catching disses from Akira as if he were a mumble rapper. Later, the two get back to the camp, where the team leader tells them some members decided to join in the games and support them from the sidelines, including this sweet-looking elderly lady. The next day, a referee gathers the Greens to show the playground they will be competing on. Mio then explains some rules of the game. There will be towers around the forest, and if a team catches the tower, they will get special points that give them access to special perks like learning the location of a person, reviving a dead interface, sealing someone ability, or even learning the measurements of the hostess with the mostas. With the rules clear, both teams register their king and decide to capture the towers first thing. While Old Man Yudo hangs back in a camp as his people capture tower after tower, Hajime, the leader of Team Red, unexpectedly appears on the front line and dominates the battlefield with overwhelming violence. But one must admit the chick facing him put on a good fight. Meanwhile, every other team gets hit with a red leader. Despite the numbers advantage the Greens have, they are no match to the powerful abilities of their experienced enemies. Talking about experienced characters, Rin is seen making a deal with the main man himself. She even tries to seduce our boy. But Akira is no simp. He's a gamer, and hating women is in his DNA. After the lad leaves, Rin makes a call to inform someone about his whereabouts. Back with Big Shin, he confronts a slinky fella that has killed his new comrades, and soon Shin might join them due to the guy shrinking the cuffs around his hand and then cutting it with a string. The Reds plan to divide and conquer. Yuri arrives at the scene with a flying kick and engages with Hajime to save Asuka. Having foreseen the big man's power, Akira instructed Yuri to use her speed and agility to weaken him and then counter with a big knee when he tried to close the distance. Meanwhile, at the camp, the Greens have caught the spy within their ranks. Ringo tries to convince him to talk, and she succeeds. Sadly, when she goes to get him a glass of water, Ringo finds the lad dead. Another spy has infiltrated the camp. You wouldn't guess who. Yep, turns out the sweet old lady was a heatless killer all along, working undercover for the Reds leaders. That aside, watching Yuri argue with Akira before she went to save Asuka made it clear that the home team was not in the best shape right now, and Akira could feel it down to the core. Speaking about the home team, his old buddy Kurosaki decided to make an entrance and settle the score with Akira once and for all. However, it was all part of our boy's grander plan. You see, Rin made the call on Akira's request to make Kurosaki think he is getting an honorable rematch, but in reality, he wanted to use him for the boss battle. And here, we are with the boys confronting Ryuji, an executive of the red team. Seeing how powerful their opponent is, the boys go into retreat and make a plan, which Kurosaki is confident in. However,